Hi guys, and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Drayton Park Golf Club. Today what I want to answer is a question for one of my YouTube subscribers. And what he asked was about dealing with difficult lies around the green. So I'll just read you the question. I haven't actually got his name. He goes by MM, very mysterious. So the question was, currently having lessons, and he teaches a lot like yourself. That makes a lot of sense, so thank you very much. Not a lot is done around the green facing awkward lies, the type of lies that most get on the golf course. What type of options of shots do you have? What would you consider? So it's a good question and something I wanted to do a little bit on. So I've sort of found myself in an area where we did a lot of tree work here at Drayton Park, so we've taken out quite a few that were in the wrong places, or the wrong specimen, or ones too close to others, or self-seeded. But we has left us with a few bare patches. We actually play these as free relief. I couldn't think of the word there, ground under repair. But if we were facing this situation, I've given myself a couple of lies here. So I've got one where I guess I've got a sort of, it's a bit of a sort of muddy, sandy lie, so it's quite loose underneath the golf ball. And over here, just a very bare lie. We haven't really had much rain in the UK for the last 6 weeks or so, so most courses are pretty dry. Obviously courses are watering hard the tees, the greens, the rounds, but you don't tend to get the watering on these sort of areas where I am, as if I've missed the green sort of 20 odd yards right on this par 3. So over here I've got a particularly hard bare lie, no real grass underneath the golf ball. So the first thing is to really understand the difference between chipping and pitching. So for me, a chip or chip and run is playing that shaft more upright like a putter. It's moving the ball position nearer your trail foot, so your sternum is ahead of the golf ball. It's trying to move the handle forwards, and what we're trying to guarantee is that we're catching the ball first. So when I haven't got a good lie, when I can't predict how that club is going to work, I would always try to get the ball first. So I try and play it more of a bump and run and chip and run. In this particular shot, I've got about 35 yards to the flag. I just paced it. It was 18 yards to the front edge of the green. It's a little bit too long to chip and run. I could perhaps play to the right of this bunker and play a lower chip and run, so it'd be more of an 8-iron. Unfortunately, we got another area roped off here with ground under repair. It was a hole that we did quite a lot of work on our 4th. So that shot has really taken me out, but that would be a half decent option there, a chip and run. The reason I don't feel I could fly a chip and run far enough to the green is a chip and run for me is when I'm not using any real wrist action. So the ball only flies up to really 15 yards maximum, which is just flying over the edge of this bunker possibly, but landing into that upslope. So I really feel like I'm going to have to play something more in between a chip and a pitch. A normal pitch shot would be using the loft, using the bounce, having the ball underneath my sternum and allowing the club to actually contact the ground first. That's fine when there is some grass underneath the ball. On both these lies, I've got sandy lie here and a very bare lie. I don't want to be hitting the ground first. So I'm going to be moving in both of these situations, the ball back in my stance. I'm going to be moving the shaft a little bit more upright so it's closer to a chip and run, but to get the distance I do have to involve some wrist action. But what I'm trying to do is really hold the angle a little bit more, almost the opposite of what we're doing a bunker shot. So in a bunker shot or a lob shot, we almost want to try and get that feeling, the club catching up or passing our hands. In this situation, I really want to try and get the feeling that my handle stays a little bit more ahead of the golf club. It's going to deal off the golf club. It's going to lower the ball flight, but I'm going to allow for that. In this situation, I have got enough room to deal with. If the flag was closer to me, I might be forced to play the bump and run chip shot to the right of the bunker, or just accept the fact that the ball's going to roll on beyond the pin, but at least I'm on the green rather than flirting with this front bunker. So I've got my 58-degree wedge here because I'm going to be de-lofting this more into the flight of a pitching wedge perhaps. But I'm playing the ball back in my stance. My sternum is definitely forwards. My handle is definitely forwards. And I'm really going to feel like my handle of the club keeps moving. I don't want it to stop and the club to take over and try and flip. So it's accepting the fact it's going to be a lower ball flight. So weight forwards. A little bit more wrist cock to generate the distance I need on this one, but feeling like my handle keeps moving towards the target. You can see that spray of sandy lie there. Got a much lower ball flight than I'd normally get with a 58-degree. It was actually perfect distance. I should have aimed a little bit more right to allow for that break, but I've left myself around a 12-foot uphill putt from a really tricky situation at 35 yards. I think I'd take that. I'm pretty happy with that. This is a very similar one, so I'm going to go on to play this one here, which is a very bare, hard lie, but I'm going to be doing very much the same thing. Again, if I could chip it, chip it. Always think of the simplest option when you're around the green. If you can putt it, putt it. If you can't putt it, can you chip it? If you can't chip it, pitch it. So always go to the simplest option. I hope that answers your question, of what I would be thinking around the green. Always trying to keep it simple as possible. So this one, it's just a very hard, bare lie. Not much grass underneath the golf ball. So again, ball back, sternum forwards, handle forwards. And I'm just trying to get the feeling that my hands stay ahead of the golf club. So I'm de-lofting the golf club, not adding loft to it. Very similar shot. I just allowed a little bit more for that break, so that one's ended up a little bit closer still. I got the divot, but the important part was there I got the ball first, not the divot first. So we're trying to guarantee that strike by getting a little bit more ahead of it. We know we're de-lofting the golf club, but we've taken more loft to allow for that lower trajectory, that lower ball flight. I hope that's answered at least a couple of your questions around the green, that sandy lie, that bare lie. Give them a go. Let me know how you get on. For everybody else watching, please do post some comments and questions below of videos you'd like to see, any topics you'd like me to cover as well. Check us out on all our social media platforms and do subscribe to the channel for all the other content Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.